I know that Shane would put his family and friends before himself in a flash.
As you know if you've been following the news, Shane Dawson has had a rough few months, after years of controversial behavior caught up with him a few months ago. Since it all took place, Shane has stayed incredibly silent on social media after issuing a few apologies, and most of the people and brands that have been affiliated with Shane have taken actions to distance themselves from him. However, not everyone has, and there are a handful of people that have stuck by Shane through all this, and have put their reputations on the line to publicly defend him. Hey, what's up everyone, I'm Mackenzie Smith, and today on the channel I'm going to be filling you in on the top 5 influencers that have defended Shane Dawson. But before I get into it, make sure to like, subscribe, and follow our socials to see more, as well as check out our playlist for more top 5s like this. Okay, now let's get into this juicy list. Starting off at number 5, we have Jeffree Star. After Dramageddon was rearing its ugly head again and everyone seemed like they were turning on Shane Dawson, people were wondering what was happening behind the scenes between Jeffree and Shane, as during the massive scandal, Jeffree remained completely silent on social media. The first glimpse into their relationship was when this tweet started to go viral, that said, quote, "My friend that works for Killer Merch just told me that they want Jeffree to denounce his friendship with Shane and drop him from their line. Everyone got sent home last night because Jeffree and the other owner of Killer Merch were bumping heads regarding the issue." So after this tweet was going around, it was clear that even though every other major company and brand was cutting ties with Shane, Jeffree didn't want to do that. After this, it was clear that Jeffree was supporting Shane behind the scenes, but we weren't too sure how far this support would go publicly. Then weeks later, Jeffree decided to come out and address everything in his video, doing what's right. And in the video, he addresses many of the accusations that were made against him. Then he speaks about Shane, telling his fans that Shane is one of his best friends, and helped him remember who he is. Continuing that Shane is genuine, amazing, selfless, and one of the kindest people he's ever met. Saying that he knows that Shane would put his friends and family before himself if needed. Then when talking about their scandals, Jeffree said that they both do not agree with the past actions of each other. However, Jeffree said he doesn't know Shane from 10 years ago, only the amazing person that he knows now. In at number 4, Trisha Paytas.
A YouTuber in her 30s, older than myself, I'm also 32, but in her late 30s, make this video right now is actually crazy.
If you've been following Shane for a while, then you know his oldest friend on the internet is Trisha Paytas, and he loves her so much that he even decided to name a shade in his palette after her. And Trisha has been very vocal in her support of Shane through all this. But she did shock people when she wasn't totally supportive of Jeffree, instead deciding not to comment on him. Trisha uploaded a video against Tati after she made her bombshell video against Shane, called Tati Dumb as Hell. And in the half-hour-long video, Trisha slammed Tati for the things that she said in her video, calling out the fact that we are in the middle of a pandemic and BLM protests, and instead of saying anything about these things, she came back online to kick Shane while he was down. Then Trisha tells Tati that she should have been investigated for her false accusations against James Charles, saying that she can't blame Shane and Jeffree because those accusations came out of her mouth, not theirs. Then calling out some of her hypocrisy, saying that if Tati was scared for her life, why did she still do product launches during that time? Then questioning why she waited this long to make the video, when she claims that she has had all this info since December. As well as this video, Trisha has tweeted out in support of Shane many times, one time retweeting a note from Brittany Louise Taylor, another friend of Shane's, adding, quote, "But that was even before I became friends with him and I've never heard this kind of stuff from him since. He's taken accountability for this and other poor taste comments." She tweeted several more times, saying that Dawson is not evil or a monster and urged people to see the good in others. In at number 3, Morgan Adams. Ryland Adams' younger sister Morgan is a very integral member of Shane's inner circle, so she raised a lot of eyebrows after she unfollowed Jeffree Star on Instagram. But considering that we saw Ryland tweet out against Tati after her video dropped, and Ryland's father even made an Instagram post in support of Shane, it wasn't too much of a shock when Morgan did it too. She addressed everything in a video she uploaded on July 29th, in the video called A Chat About Life.
So my perspective on something versus your perspective of something completely differs based on, what we've been through in life, how we grew up, how our parents raised us, nature, nurture.
Morgan shows a ton of vlog clips of all the stuff she's been doing in the time that she's been silent on social media. Then about halfway through the video, while she's doing her makeup, she addresses all the stuff with Shane. She starts off by not naming Shane directly, talking about how perspective and context are everything in life, telling a story about a friend and how her friend and her brother interpreted the same sentence a very different way because of the context behind them, and that on the internet context is something that's almost always missing. Then she goes in and talks about Shane by name. She starts off saying that she doesn't want to be involved in drama and she doesn't want to add on to all the drama on the internet, but wants to address things before she goes back to posting normally, saying she doesn't like or agree with Shane's old videos, even adding she feels uncomfortable watching them, saying she feels strange watching them because she doesn't feel that the person in the videos is someone that she knows, then saying she doesn't defend his past but that Shane Shane that she knows personally and has hung out with has always been gracious and kind and understanding. Adding, quote, he's always been willing to help everyone. The person that I see from day to day in a non-YouTube, non-filming, and not trying to be entertaining, that Shane isn't even in the same stratosphere as the Shane you get to see in these older clips. Then saying there's a difference between saying you're gonna change and actually changing. And because of the fact she can't recognize the old Shane in his video, she's confident his actions have changed him as a person. In at number 2, Eugenia Cooney. Eugenia Cooney is a YouTuber that has been the center of a lot of conversation regarding her health. And it seems that during her hard times, Shane and his friend group always did the most possible to support her for all the hate she received online. But once she seemed like she was starting to recover, Shane decided to make a documentary on her and speak with her about what she was doing to get better and talk about her return to YouTube. And it seemed like they got very close as friends around this time, with them both supporting each other on their socials. And Eugenia is still supporting Shane, being outspoken with her support ever since all the drama started to pick up. Even back when the only big scandal he was in was debating whether he was in By Sister or not, saying in cryptic tweets that only love can bring out darkness, and that instead of focusing on the things that we are doing wrong, we should remember what we've done right. Then even making sure to wish him a happy birthday on July 19th. Then retweeting a long message of support from Trisha Paytas, adding, everything here is so true, it makes me so sad seeing so much hate. People can grow so much in 10 years, and knowing Shane, he's one of the kindest, most generous hearts and is truly an amazing person. He's done so much good for people and would never hurt anyone. She's also done other things to support Shane, like doing makeup looks with his conspiracy palette, as well as doing looks with Jeffree Star's cremated palette that was released in the midst of the controversy. And finally, at number 1, Ryland Adams. Ryland Adams is Shane's fiance, and the pair have been together for 4 years. Right when the scandal broke, people were unsure if Ryland would stand by him, as he was very silent on social media. But after Tati uploaded her explosive video, Ryland firmly took Shane's side, and sent a string of tweets defending him. The first tweet said, quote, Tati Westbrook, a masterclass in manipulation. The only way to save her reputation was to side with the person she tried to ruin. Make no mistake, this 40-year-old woman chose to post a video on her own accord. She riled up Shane before doing so to have one of the biggest creators backing her, and the chances was all backfired. Shane very well would have posted a video exposing James if had he felt so inclined. No receipts because she didn't want to expose the countless times she told Shane that she was a big girl doing this only for herself. And he tweeted several other things basically attempting to expose her for lying in that video. So people were not surprised when he uploaded a YouTube video where he starts it off by addressing the stuff with Shane. The video is called My Past, My Present, and My Future, 30 Days of Meditation. And before getting into the video that was pre-filmed, he comes on and says that he wants to acknowledge everything that's been going on before he starts posting again. In the 4-minute segment, he says he's been silent in these weeks because he wanted to process everything himself without outside opinions. And he says he only tweeted out against Tati after her video because he was actually there for all that. Unlike these old clips where Ryland didn't know Shane, as they've been together for 4 years, but many of the clips are 7 to 10 years old. He says that he wants all of us to champion change and growth on the internet instead of cancellations, and that in Ryland's opinion, Shane has changed from all the times he has addressed very similar issues in the past. Then he speaks of all Shane's incredible success on YouTube with his documentaries, saying that since he's been with Ryland, he has doubled his subscribers, and Ryland believes that's because he's now living a much healthier and authentic version of himself than he did before. Then he addressed the fact that Shane has given problematic people a platform, saying that everyone has something in their past they're not proud of, but it shouldn't take away from the incredible content that Shane's made with his docuseries. Then adding that he's not the type of person to leave a situation when it's getting rocky, and he has stood by Shane because he doesn't believe that Shane is these horrible things that the internet is making it out to be. Alright everyone, that's all from me today. Let me know what you're thinking about all this below. And did any of these people shock you, or is it not really a surprise? For me, I was pretty confident Jeffree would do something to distance himself from Shane, but honestly it's better for both of them to stay united against Tati at this point. But now before I head out, I'm going to shout out some comments from my top 10 on celebrities that are hard to work with. So Skylar said, Catherine doesn't surprise me, even her character on Grey's Anatomy always came off mean. And Leah Michelle always seemed like a terrible person to me. She just looks like a mean girl. Agreed. The only thing is Heigl was in just so many amazing rom-coms, but clearly she's just a really good actress, I guess. Then Eric said, so Charlotte is the potato queen, Jared is the potato king. So make Mackenzie the potato princess. Ooh, I really like that. I've heard mac and cheese a lot. Potato princess, I'm kind of here for that. That might be a thing. Good suggestion. Then Justin said early squad, entitled celebs being who would have, everybody would have guessed. Yes, also, thank you early squad, you are the best, we love you so much, and just all that is facts, basically. Okay, everyone, that's all for me today. Thank you so much for watching. If you made it all the way here, I really appreciate it. And be sure to like, subscribe, and follow us on Instagram to be kept up to date with all the news and tea you'll ever need to know. And I'll see you on the next one.
Vids.